Republican presidential candidates taking the stage once again last night. Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy focusing their attacks this time on Nikki Haley after she recently won over some big backers.
The only person more fascist than the Biden regime now is Nikki Haley, who thinks the government should identify every one of those individuals with an ID. That is not freedom. That is fascism. And she should come nowhere near the levers of power, let alone the White House.
And I love all the attention, fellas. Thank you for that.
Alex Thompson is the national political correspondent for Axios. What did you make of last night? What were the highlights in your mind? And did anybody make any real progress?
I mean, I think my main takeaway was it was a good night for Donald Trump. You know, from the very beginning of this year, Donald Trump's main imperative was to prevent this from becoming a two-person race. Donald Trump versus Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump versus Nikki Haley. And basically what you saw is that this continues to be sort of a doggy pile where everyone is climbing over each other, trying to become that second person. I think Nikki Haley has been by far the most consistent and best debater. This was also by far her worst night, in part because everyone was attacking her. You know, she also had a little bit of a rough week in New Hampshire, where she is based, staked a lot of her candidacy. She also just departed with her New Hampshire state director. And, I think she put it pretty well after the debate in a post-debate interview with Megyn Kelly when she was asked how it went. She said, fine.
So nobody you think is making progress to actually not I want to say out Trump, but to get to Trump. The question is, how many or who do you think on that stage might be trying to vie for second place, meaning his vice president?
That's such an interesting question. I mean, I think certainly not Chris Christie, who has been incredibly blunt in his criticisms of Donald Trump. I would say the person that is clearly the most aligned ideologically and has basically not criticized Trump at all is Vivek Ramaswamy. In fact, in some ways, he is the Trump avatar on that stage. He and not just in terms of his ideology, but also in terms of sort of creating chaos and making the debate, making it so that no clear person can emerge. You see the way that he attacks both Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who are the strongest candidates, at least in the polling on that stage, and have the best chance of becoming that main Trump alternative. Right. The way that he sort of is just swinging at both is pretty, makes it so he is sort of a Trump's blunt tool on that stage.
Has the DeSantis campaign just fizzled out at this point? Is there any life in it?
No, I actually don't think it's quite fizzled out. Clearly, all these nonstop process stories that really began in July when they had that cash crunch, the fact that they are now undergoing sort of a purge on that main super PAC and installing close DeSantis allies, it really has not gone well. That being said, he has the endorsement of the governor of Iowa. It's sort of an extraordinary step. Usually statewide officials in Iowa do not endorse in the caucus as a way of sort of maintaining neutrality and keeping the caucus, keeping the caucus prominent. But I think, he has a strong operation in Iowa. He probably has the strongest operation in Iowa, perhaps even more so than Trump. And if he gets a close second, or even, if he gets a close second in Iowa, I would say you could watch out for sort of a comeback. That being said, Trump is by far the dominant front runner in this race. Ron DeSantis was close to him back in the last spring. And essentially, since he got in the race, it has been a steady decline. But, it's not a national primary. And if Ron DeSantis surprises in Iowa, essentially, expectations are pretty low now.
Just real quick, in terms of the dominoes at this point, there was a moment at which Ramaswamy said to Chris Christie, basically get off the stage. Stop your campaign already.
And called him fat. He said, go eat something.
I didn't want to even go there, but no.
But
it's beyond. But my question, my just broader question is, in terms of folks who you think might actually step off the stage, in what order would that happen at this point?
I think it's very unlikely that any of those four candidates are going to drop out before New Hampshire. Now, it's possible if Chris Christie does not believe that he has a chance to get second place in New Hampshire that he could drop out before. But the really interesting thing in terms of, you mentioned the dominoes here. So there is a month gap between the January 23rd New Hampshire primary and the February 24th South Carolina primary. If the field consolidates right after New Hampshire and it's just a one-on-one race, it will give one candidate the best chance to go one-on-one against Trump going into that decisive primary. It's the best chance any of them have.